Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be trying West Coast Beer Hug from Goose Island Beer Company out of Chicago, Illinois. Go find a bear and give it a hug. Hey everybody, welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer that we are drinking and reviewing. Definitely appreciate you checking out this video. I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. We've got a special guest back with us, Brad. Welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Thanks for taking out some time to have a beer with us.
Yep, absolutely.
And I am Ben. Gentlemen, what are we drinking today?
West Coast Beer Hug.
All right. Finally, the last in the West Coast series, I think, that we have.
Yeah. Brad and I are going to split this one. So,
yeah, I think some of the previous videos I thought of Ben and West Coast.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah. I am not the IPA guy, as we like to say, or I like to say. But
I didn't used to be.
West Coast
lately though.
I was about to say, stick with Jay, and you'll find a lot of cool IPAs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And but yeah, after a year of hanging out with Jay, all of a sudden, IPA. I'm just wow. Used to like, no way. I go, ooh, no.
See, but I've been stuck with Jay for years now, and
Mike always says
I never had that feeling.
No, this smells even. This seems like a very gentle.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
See what we're getting into here.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's going to be Ben's favorite
It's
of
not,
the.
it's not like I always say, pine needles in a glass.
No, it is not. As IPAs goes, it's very mild, especially West Coast. I was expecting a lot of pine.
This is an Imperial IPA, West Coast Beer Hug at 7.8%, 45 IBUs. Notes are piney, floral, citrus. I tend to agree. Uses Centennial and Chinook hops. And I think that's the Chinook that really gives it that West Coast appeal too. And Centennials, West, especially the Northwest. That's about it on this. It took some work to track this. Of the beer hugs, they didn't put this on their website. Even on Untapped, there's no like label on Untapped to look it up. It's like are they embarrassed about it? It's their little known beer hug of the group, because we've had the hazy, the tropical, the neon. Those are the others, right?
Yep.
So I won't say we'll save the best for last, because of the group, I don't think they're all about the same.
Which is surprising because, I mean, since they've gone macro, you would think, especially with them being in all the mainstream avenues, you see them. I've seen them on airlines and at concerts and sporting events and things like that. They would provide more detail about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's about it for the beer. It's another Goose Island Brewing Company. As we said, it's a macro. It was originally founded in 1988 in Chicago, named after Goose Island in the northern branch of the Chicago River. Founder, of course, traveled through Europe, tasted good beer there. So that was the 80s, came back here. It's like, we don't have enough of this, so I'm going to create craft beer around here, something more than just your mass-produced macro lagers, things like that. In 2011 is when they became the macro brewery they are, when Anheuser-Busch acquired them. Other than that, that's all I care to say. We are definitely in the playlist of Goose Island with all our Bourbon County series and now the the beer hugs. Should you have said go hug a beer or hug a bear earlier, Ben?
You know, I mean, I guess you could do either or both at the same time. You know.
I think one's more dangerous than the other.
Yeah.
You might not survive an actual bear hug, but a beer hug you can do any day.
I would definitely hug a beer over a bear. Well, some more trivia. Right there on the label, and it's on our can, Ben. You see the hang 10 on a wave of citrusy hops and pine. Where did we get that hang 10 from, Ben? Jay, Brad? It is a surfing term, but specifically, what is it? Correct. Ben, did you know this? So when you're surfing and they tell you to hang 10, you go to the edge of the board and you have all 10 of your toes curled over the edge. Just like
very good, Brad.
Gotcha. No, I did not know that. So.
There you
go. All right.
Cool.
Who's had this one before?
Nobody has logged it. And there's only been 3,000 reviews on or logs on Untapped.
Yeah, I mean, I picked this up in a multi-box, so I'm wondering if they even sell it.
Yeah, and like individual packs.
It's not one that I've seen. I've seen the Neon Bear Hug or Beer Hug and the original Beer Hug.
Yeah,
I don't know that I've seen the West Coast or the Tropical in the wild, if you will say.
So it is a little over 8 months old. Almost 9.
Still held together pretty good. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, Jay, why don't you go first for us?
Of course.
IPA himself.
This is good. It reminds me of what you would expect from a macro, as we've talked about. Macro IPA made for the masses, even though we don't see this out in the wild. It's probably part of just that mix pack. You might see this, I guess, if you're up in the Illinois area. To me, when I think West Coast, like Brad had mentioned to start, I would expect more pine or more resin, maybe even a little more haze. I don't know, but that doesn't come through as much. It's got some there, but to me, it's a 7.5. It's a good beer, but it's just another one that kind of gets lost in that Beer Hug series.
All right, Andy, what say you?
I was very cautious coming into this one after having the other 3, and then knowing we still had the West Coast, and of all the IPAs, I think the West Coast is my least favorite of styles. But I actually like this best of the group. It is not, it's got a little pine. That citrus really helps. I mean, it's balanced pine and citrus to me, but there's not a lot of resin. And I think sometimes it's that resin that can turn me off at times. But comparing to the other beer hugs, which were disappointing, this has a little more flavor than I was expecting. And it wasn't offensive like I was expecting. And it's a decent IPA, and it tastes like a West Coast style. I even had brought my West Coast shirt with my bear riding a bicycle. I was prepped and ready. And
of course you were. Laid it out last night.
Yeah, I did plan this. It takes a while to get this look. So,
that would be perfect.
This is better than the others. I know some of the other ones I think I had in the 6s. I can't remember, but I'll give this a 7. I've had it. It's better than the others, but in a lineup, if there's something better, I'm going to have it over this 7.0.
Yep.
Yeah, if you have this version, you're going to pick this.
Yeah, if it was this and some macros, or if this and the other beer hugs, I'm going to go with this one. Although the tropical was a 9.9%, so it depends on what my goal is at the time.
I think that was the Neon.
I've got it right here on my notes.
Okay.
I don't know where
maybe
the
they'll add
neon
some-
isn't on this page, but the tropical is a 9.9.
Neon is up there too, because that's the one that they sell in a lot of the concert venues and the big cans. And it's high ABV.
I don't even know where that one is.
I'll jump in there. So, yeah, this one to me, I'm right there with you, Andy. It's West Coast is my least favorite style, as I've said numerous times on the show. But this is not drink necessarily like you would expect a West Coast to drink. It's to Jay's point, it's more the macro West Coast. It really cuts back on a lot of the things that make a West Coast, and therefore make me not like a West Coast. So it's very citrusy to me, with a little bit of pine. For me, it doesn't balance quite as much as Andy mentioned. It's more on the citrusy side, and maybe just because I expected it to be a lot more pine based on the name. We had another West Coast not too terribly long ago that was very similar in that we're expecting that big just blast of resin and pine, and we didn't get it, and I don't remember what it was, but I'm kind of with you, Andy. I think for the beer hugs, oddly enough, the reasons why I like this one are the reasons that I've just mentioned, that it's less than what I expect it to be. So I still feel that I've been disappointed by the beer hug series now that we've done 4 of them. I've got one more beer hug in the fridge that I can see down here. It's the Big Mango beer hug in a tall can that I picked up just because I hadn't had it. But yeah, I'm not
regretting that purchase.
Why are
I'm
you
not
buying
like-
IPAs?
What's that?
Why are you buying IPAs?
It's because, again,
The log.
I mean, we only get so many options here. I go to the store and buy what I haven't had most of the time. And unfortunately for me, that means I've got a lot of IPAs in the fridge right now because we've gotten some different ones. But anyway, this one, it's okay. Again, I'm probably with you, Andy. If I'm presented this or a macro option, I'm out somewhere, I'm probably going to grab this. And, I might make a couple laps around the cooler to make sure that, that's my only other option. But it's okay. And again, I like it better that it's not as offensive as I thought it would be. Where to score it? I give it a 7. It's in between a 6.5 and 7 to me, so I'll give it a 7 just to give it a score because it's not as offensive as I was expecting. So, all right, Brad. Again, thanks for coming back on the show.
Oh, you bet.
What do you think?
Well, when Jay sat there and said we were going to have a West Coast and it's in the morning, I'm like, West Coast in the morning? Are you kidding me? So yeah, it's because it's too much hop, it's too much bitter, it's too much pine, and but when I was smelling it, I'm like, that doesn't smell like a West Coast to me. And like Ben had mentioned earlier, it's got that tropical flavor. It was really nice on the tongue, but if the longer you go between swallows, there's the West Coast, right? You get that in the back, a little bit of pine. I would probably rate this higher if it was like 7 or 8 at night, maybe a little later. But I gotta say, for West Coast, if this is a West Coast, I would go, this is how you introduce West Coast to somebody, right? I mean, because some of the ones we've had very, very piney. I didn't used to like them either, but I kind of do. So I don't know. I'd rate this higher later, but I go just because. I don't know. I don't think it. I'd probably go about the same with like about 6 to 6.5, maybe.
Yeah, pick one.
I'll go 6. I'll go with 6 on that one. Because I wouldn't be putting this down and grabbing another one, right? I'll go through the rotation.
Yeah, we have very rigid rules here on our numbering system. Very rigid. So you have to pick.
I agree. Time of day, time of year, what your mood is really influences your scoring too. So
Yeah,
what you're saying is
Yeah.
If I just finished coming in from mowing the grass and it's hot outside, this would probably be, oh yeah, you know, but I don't know, right?
So what you're saying, Andy, is we need to start over on our start from beer one and go back through all
No,
of
I don't want to do
500
that.
plus?
No, there's a lot I don't want to do.
No more banana bread for you.
No banana bread. Nothing with
Spicy pickle
pickles.
mustard for Ben.
No.
Nothing with pickles.
Brad likes.
I like the spicy pickle. That was awesome. That was really good.
All right, that's going to be a 6.9 for the West Coast Beer Hug from Goose Island Beer Company out of Chicago, Illinois. Definitely appreciate you checking out this video. We're trying to make it to 500 subs by the end of 2025. So if you would help us out with that, we would definitely appreciate it. You can also like and comment down below. That would be fantastic as well. We got a bunch of links down below for some Hopped Up Beer Review merch. We've got some links for some glassware, some other things down there. So check all that out as well when you get a chance. And yeah, with that, hope everybody has a great day wherever you are. Brad, really appreciate you joining us on this video. Hope to see you again sometime soon. Come have a beer with us. We'd love to have you back on the show. For Andy in the attic, Jay, Brad, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.